The Detroit Tigers are starting to become a serious problem. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented to you by Betway. I'm Adam Peddle, joined alongside by Nicholas Playalog. They're a problem to everybody else that's not a Tiger. You got to run through this team that is a legit pitching staff and starting to become one of the more lethal offenses in all of baseball. All their young guys for years they've been bringing up offensively that haven't really clicked are now starting to click. Even guys that they brought in from free agency a few years ago, Javier Baez is starting to click, and it's making this team a lot more complete, and they right now sit on top of the American League as one of the best teams, if not the best team, in MLB. So, guys, let's bring it up right now. The American League standings right here. You got the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central. They're 22-13, and as you can see, the rest of the American League, they're not even close. The Yankees, which they were kind of battling them out for that first spot for a while, dropped a few games. They dropped to 19. The Mariners at 20. But then you got right here the Tigers. The Tigers on top of everybody right now, Nick. And this is exactly above and beyond what they expected.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I certainly thought that Detroit would be good, especially after the showing that they had last year in the second half of the season. But this good at, a run differential of plus 63, that to me is just blowing me away. And it really does come down to the contributions that they're getting from their offense. We knew that the pitching staff was going to be good. You had Tariq Skubal in there. They brought back Jack Flaherty. You had a couple other guys there that looked like they could definitely take that next step, and they are getting that right now. You look at some of their statistics. Reese Olson out there, 3.03 ERA. Jackson Jobe, that's a nice young prospect for him, and he is already popping off. The kid is so young, 22 years old, and Casey Mize, kind of one of those former prospects that is now doing it. You're hoping that can continue. So we knew that the pitching staff had the depth and it was going to do it. The big question was, what are you going to get out of that lineup? Because last year we saw some breakouts. You saw Riley Green do what everybody hoped and thought Riley Green could do. But can he be that guy for the whole squad, right? There's 9 players in here. What are you going to do with the rest of the 8? Kerry Carpenter looked good, but could he continue? A lot of those things or a lot of those questions, are getting answered by a resounding yes.
Yeah, it's shocking. You look up and down the lineup on the right side right here. Look how many OPSs are in the 800s. Kerry Carpenter's 1, Gleyber Torres 2, Zach McKinstry 3, Riley Green 4, Spencer Torkelson 5, and then you go down to Javier Baez 6, even Dylan Dingler, and what a name that guy has. That's 7 guys in the OPS range of 800. I said this last year, and I loved when they had Riley Green break out, and he was kind of their core, but I said this, they either need a lot of Riley Greens, or they need a couple big superstars like a Bobby Witt, over there as well in the AL Central. And they don't really have that Bobby Witt. Maybe you could argue it's Kerry Carpenter, because Kerry Carpenter, he had a very small sample size last year where he had the OPS of 932, 264 at-bats, and you're thinking, okay, is this the breakout we're about to see? We need to see it over a full year. Then you enter the first month of this season, and so far so good. Kerry Carpenter is looking like the leadoff hitter that they've been really looking for to set the table for the rest of this lineup. And my goodness, even the rest of the lineup, they go and they bring in Gleyber Torres right behind him. That was a nothing thing for me. That was we need to fill out some depth in our infield. This is a veteran guy. This is a young squad. Bring in Gleyber Torres. Did you expect that Gleyber Torres would have expected slugging of 95 percentile?
Yeah,
no.
Obviously not, right? And when you look at what they had added to their offense this offseason, this was it. This was the one big piece.
Other than Jack Flaherty, but offensively,
That's what offensively, right? I mean, they didn't really add anything, and that was what a lot of people's criticisms were for them, right? It's front office, what are you doing? You made it all the way, last year you had this big historic run, and then you don't add anything. I mean, so far your one addition is actually fucking going crazy, which is shocking to me.
And he's supposed to be better than what he is right now. His batting average on the season is 291, but his expected is 311. So he's actually getting unlucky, which is wild. So you pair up all those guys at the top. McKinstry's right there in the 3 spot according to Fangraphs. Riley Green, of course, Then you get Spencer Torkelson. You know, if you really needed a breakout from Spencer Torkelson. You didn't get that last year. That hindered them ever so slightly. But now you're actually finally starting to see a little bit of a breakout from him. Again, going over to Baseball Savant, like the numbers are reflective of that. The expected numbers are. You know, he's not a big guy for a high batting average, but the slug, the power is there. He leads the team with 10 home runs. That's not too far off from Aaron Judge. So far this season. You need that.
Again, like this is something that is unexpected, and it's these unexpected breakouts that were going to take this Detroit Tigers team from being a good, legitimate playoff team to, I mean, maybe even a bit of a World Series contender, right? Like, you look up and down the lineup right now, and then you look at the pitching staff. Like, these are the numbers that I certainly want to see on paper for a team that, you know, could actually have a World Series title in their future. I think the biggest question for me right now, and you know, a lot of baseball fans, is you look at this lineup and it looks great, but 7 guys with an OPS of 800 or higher, that's kind of unsustainable, especially when you are talking about names like Gleyber Torres and like, you know, Zach McKinstry and Javi Baez and Dylan Dingle, right? Like, these are names that at this current juncture, like, unless you're the LA Dodgers, having, you know, a handful of guys, like 5, 6, 7 guys with an OPS over 800, it's just not a real thing. So, I mean, I think the biggest question right now is, do you expect this offense to continue at a level like this, or are they going to take a major step back? And what can the team do to kind of counter that?
Yeah, well, I think it's a good problem to have where you have a lot of guys overperforming, because the reality is you are going to have some guys regress. Like, let's be honest, like the last guy I was going to bring up here is Javier Baez, and he's not going to sustain his OPS and his numbers all season long. Like, do you really think that Javier Baez out of nowhere is going to hit 309? You know, I mean, you can even see it right here. He's not supposed to be hitting 309. So there will be some guys stepping back. There will be some guys cooling off, especially a lot of these guys, young, you know, sample sizes in their careers, when eventually you do get the rest of the league adjusting to them halfway through or even a quarter of the way through the season, then they're going to have to make another adjustment halfway through. And that is the Achilles heel of a lot of young batters in the league, is you have to be able to make that adjustment. Now, some guys like Kerry Carpenter, you might argue, are just built different. They just have that ability. They have the skill to make adjustments very quickly and recognize how pitchers are attacking them, and they could stay on it. So for me, I mean, yeah, am I expecting them to regress? For sure. But when you pair it with that great pitching staff, like, that's going to bring you to the dance regardless. And that's all I need to see for them to get to the dance. Now, when they're in the dance is another question.
Well, but here's the thing. Yeah, like, that's, I mean, at this current point, like, yeah, this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even be a fucking question. Like, this is a playoff team. I have no questions in my mind that, like, this is a playoff squad. With what you're seeing right now, like, in my opinion, it's go time. Mm-hmm. It's now, like,
time to buy in at the deadline,
yeah,
too.
Like,
no more fucking around.
That's what
I
mean. You know, like, you look around at the rest of the American League, and, okay, you got the Cleveland Guardians, who are, you know, also at 20 wins right now, but, I mean, I think you guys are better than them, right? You just comparing pound for pound, like, what you guys have done, comparatively speaking to them, I don't know how they're getting over 20 wins at this current point with the way that their offense is playing. Like, they're not very good. You could take them in a, you know, 3-game, 5-game, 7-game series easily, right? You know, you look over at the Houston Astros, feels like their reign of terror right now just isn't as strong as it used to be. The Yankees are good, but, like, other than that, I mean, like, when you're thinking about juggernauts in the American League, I'm kind of looking at the Detroit Tigers right now. If I was them, obviously you got to see where your team is at in the next coming months and everything like that, and just, you know, see how these guys progress, whether they regress or not. But I think that they are, like, one legitimate bat that you can count on, that you know is not going to regress, that you know is going to be there.
Guy.
Like, one legitimate bat in that lineup away from being a serious and strong threat for the World Series.
Because you need it in the playoffs, right? Because once you get to the dance, it's like, well, how are these guys going to perform in the playoffs? We saw a little bit of it last year. Mm-hmm. You know, just they were able to beat the Houston Astros. That was exciting. But, you know, how can they do now that the lights are really bright? Like, they were the Cinderella story last year. They were happy to be there. They were exciting. They were riding the wave. But now that you're starting the year as in my opinion, you're the favorites, because we're seeing what's going on in the rest of the American League. Like, if you are the favorites going into the postseason, how are you going to perform there? Get a veteran bat throw him right in the middle between all those guys and split up all these young backs.
That's the thing, man. Like, and obviously, like, this is a extreme example. You're not gonna be able to get somebody like this, but I'm thinking about somebody like a Freddie Freeman, for instance.
Right,
that you know that you're gonna be able to slot in there in the middle of them all, and I think that's what they were hoping Javier Baez was going to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is not the case. I mean, he's doing it right now.
Right now.
But you know what? Like, we're anticipating those numbers to fall off. But take it. Survey the trade market. If there is anybody out there with kind of the skill set of a Freddie Freeman that's still at the top of their game offensively speaking, but's been there, that's done that can help these young dudes, that to me is the one missing piece right here from like them being a serious World Series favorite.
And would you right now say that obviously they're a World Series favorite in the American League to kind of reach there? In my opinion, what about in the World Series? Do you think?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I genuinely believe like they need one more piece because I just don't know. And again, we're 5 games into the season at this point.
Yeah, it's May 5th.
If we were like 80 games in and these guys were all still doing it offensively speaking, I might feel differently. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to rely on Gleyber Torres in the playoffs. I mean, fuck, we kind of saw that with the Yankees last year, right? Zach McKinstry in the big moment, up against God knows who, like on the LA Dodgers, right?
Or Yamamoto.
Yeah, sure, right? It's just like, I'm not sure. Like, I know that I can trust Kerry Carpenter, and I know I can trust Riley Green, but those are the only two that are like kind of locked in for me where it's like, you guys are going to be good. Give me one more bat that's a veteran, that's proven it, that can do it at the high level in the biggest moments, and I think that they're right there.
Well, if you guys want to bet on it too, you can go check out Betway. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the details section to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years or older. Please play responsibly. It's right now your multiplier. If you just pick the Detroit Tigers to win the American League, it's 9 times your money, which is right now the 6th favorite. You got the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Astros, and the Mariners all over this team. Like, well, that's
fucking nuts to me because the Rangers just fired their hitting coach, and so it's like they're literally going through something right now.
Yeah, what are they? My God, they're 17 and 18.
Yeah, it's like they're fine, like they're in the mix, but like they literally just fired their coach. It's like what that team is better than the Detroit Tigers, which are like killing on every single front right now. Houston, like again, they're still Houston, but are they the Detroit Tigers level of good? I don't think so. I love those odds. I'm smashing them.
I would be I'm honestly might even smash that.
I genuinely believe just from a mathematical standpoint, it feels like a good bet.
Yeah, guys, you guys let us know in the comments down below. You liking these Detroit Tigers? Hit that like button and subscribe to Bad for Baseball, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Cheers.